From across the comic book community multiverse, the Comic-Con podcast begins now with your hosts, Justin, aka Nemesis Prime.
If you give them the title of influencer, then that's giving them more power, right? That's how it is. Like, I'm a nobody. Listen, I'm a nobody.
Zach, aka the Manimal.
We talked about it for a full, I believe, 7 to 8 minutes on an hour-long normal podcast for a show. And you would have thought we set their house on fire with the backlash. So,
wait. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic-Con podcast, season 3, episode 24. Recording this on June 1st. That's right, June 1st. You're hearing this on June 2nd at the earliest. It's your boy, Nemesis Prime, of course, baby daddy over there.
Yo.
Daddy?
Yeah.
Are you a baby daddy?
I'm definitely a baby's daddy for sure. But I feel like baby daddy kind of refers to like a non-married situation. So that's, I don't know. Who knows? But yes, new father.
Daddy?
New father.
What up, new daddy?
Oh, I'm tired. People weren't lying. It's very tiring, very low hours of sleep. It's crazy, man. I mean, you're just like this creature that completely like depends on you. You know what I mean? Like, it's obviously, a lot of people, you have cats. I've had dogs before, and it's, people liken it to that. And of course there's some similarities there, but I don't know. I guess what I just keep thinking about the most is like, how the hell did cavemen do this? You know what I mean? Like, how did they know how to do anything and protect their kids? And like, babies are so vulnerable, dude. Like, it's wild. But
I guess that
it's
time
fun,
machine.
man.
Get
It's
that
fun.
time machine will go back, right? But that's cool. You've survived a week with the child, so that's good.
Yes. Survived. He survived.
Yeah, he survived and you
with me.
survived.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So
double win.
congratulations to you. I know a lot of people contacted me and gave me shout outs, especially on my Whatnot sale, and then just through DMs and
oh yeah.
stuff
People
like that,
people in the community were great. You sent I posted about this on my Instagram. You sent those awesome Marvel shirts that he'll be able to wear when he gets a little bigger, which shouldn't be long as he's a little fatty. And then the Darth Vader shirt, and then Jay DeButcha sent man, it must have been painful for him too. And I posted on my Instagram, but he's a big Raiders fan, but he sent a Chiefs outfit, which that had to hurt. That had to hurt purchasing Chiefs gear. But I mean, the community, dude, like the true community. I mean, I couldn't say thank you more than, I have, I guess. I don't know how much to express it. Like, everyone's been so great. People reaching out, genuine like advice and well wishes and welcome to the fatherhood community. And I don't know, man, the real community outside the drama, the ones that like you and I are a part of, that's why we do this stuff, man. That's why this is so much fun. So So yeah, it's been great, man. And thank you for everyone and your well wishes. And I'm happy for a little bit of a comic book break. It's nice.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to try to get you once a week for at least for an hour.
Yeah.
Whether it's just you and me or it's with other people in the community. So we're recording this actually earlier than Thursday night because I'm going to go see Spider-Verse. So you'll be hearing a Spider-Verse Across the Spider-Verse review at some point, dropping next week, hopefully. Obviously, Zach's way too busy to go see it. So I don't know, maybe I'll do it by myself, or maybe we'll grab somebody here in the community that I see that saw it. So
yeah,
who knows? But let's kind of get right into some of the articles for this week that we have talking. So, of course, speaking of Spider-Verse, this was just over at CBR.com and over, obviously, at Variety. So the producer of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Amy Pascal, has said that a live-action film centering on Miles Morales' Spider-Man is in the works. Now, of course, she confirmed that Sony's developing films for Miles Morales and also Spider-Woman. While attending the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the producer confirmed work on the projects, teasing that the Spider-Woman film might release sooner than expected. It is unclear if it's going to be an animated film or live adaptation like the Miles Morales movie. So we do remember, I feel like this has been something that they talked about, that they were going to do a Spider-Woman movie.
Right.
And, people were thinking that it would be like Spider-Woman, Silk, and Spider-Gwen. So now I don't know if this is very early. So it could be Spider-Woman film, could be 3, could be 1, could be just Jessica Drew. I mean, we feel like, who knows where Madam Web is. I know we're getting Julia Carpenter in that one.
Right.
So where do we sit on this? Like, how do you feel? I know I love this. How do you feel on a live action Miles Morales movie?
It's kind of a loaded question, man. we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, back and forth with Miles, and he's I don't want to say he's a great character. He's a good character, and he's by far the most. You can probably say he's by far the most successful race swap character, or like checkbox character, because that's a social justice type character.
Mhm.
And look, people might get angry about me classifying it that, but I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of really what it is. You take the most popular Marvel character, Spider-Man, and you race swap him. He has, a little bit better powers, or not. I don't even want to say better, but different powers. But for the most part, it's the same character. So much so that they never even gave him a new name, and he also goes by Spider-Man. So, and then so much so that they brought him out of an alternate universe into a mainstay Marvel. So, we've also talked about how he struggles. He struggles to hold his own titles. They don't sell super well, but at the same time, in the reverse, the Into the Spider-Verse, the first movie, was great. It was amazing, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not a Miles fan necessarily, but I thought it was a really good movie. We're hearing a lot of hype here about how this is the best Spider-Man movie of all time. And you and I were talking offline how I wonder how much agenda is pushing that. You know what I mean? Like people saying that. It's also like, not to go down another rabbit hole, but the same story about how this new Little Mermaid movie is so great and so great. It's to battle the trolls, which I don't agree with either, but I don't know. It's an animation movie. How could this be the best Spider-Man movie? Better than all the live actions. It's not the same shit. So then moving forward to the live action Miles Morales, I don't know, dude. Do we need two Spider-Mans? I mean, I'm not, if he shows up, cool, man. The Spelunk universe kind of sucks anyway, so I'm not going to really care. Venom blows. We'll see how Craven looks kind of cool, but Morbius sucked. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not hyped for it. Whatever. I'm kind of like, whatever. We'll see if it happens. You?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough, right? Because it's like either we see him in a Sony, because obviously it's a Spider-Man character, so it's more of that, like you said, the Spelunk universe, and it's not really Marvel Cinematic. So how much, like, and how fast are we getting this? Because I feel like Tom Holland still has a lot to grow for a lot of characters, right?
Yeah.
And then you're kind of confusing people of like, who's Spider-Man? Is it Tom Holland or whoever they decide to do for this one? But again, like they said, they really don't know too much, right? They love the animation, so live action is obviously the next thing for Miles, but I don't know, man. Like I couldn't care less. Like I know all these people were like, oh my God, now I need to go out and buy it. But Ultimate Fallout 4. I feel like if you were a fan, like you should have just bought the
overhyped book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you were if you were a Miles fan, you should have just went out and bought the Ultimate Fallout 4 whenever. Like just buy a raw copy. If you want the book, why did you wait? And obviously now people are going to go. Now the book was, over 3K, dropped half after all those stupid COVID prices. Now it was like 1,800. I'm sure it's going to push to 2K and go from there. Whatever. I like the animated look. I like the way they're doing this. I'm happy with them just continuing just doing Spider-Verse movies and keeping Miles the mainstay character, because I don't.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix, right? So live action, you got Peter Parker. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. Disney needs to wake up, and the world needs to wake up. If you ever think Miles Morales is going to outpace and take over Peter Parker, you are wrong. There is no, and actually even explaining this to you is pointless because you don't understand. Miles Morales will never be the number one Spider-Man. He never will be. It will not occur. This isn't like a Robin situation with multiple Robins. You can't, it's not going to happen, man. So
nor will he
really
have he would never have a title that's good or popular or like there's no, if you look back, there's no storyline other than what you and I talked about offline, which I don't really want to say too much because of certain things, but like there's really only one storyline that really involves him. That's, I feel like that would, people that bring it up maybe again and again, right? But you look at other characters, there's tons of characters from the old days that you can be like, oh, well, there's this story arc and that story arc. And they're amazing. And even Spider-Man has like the spider clones, and like there's so many that you could just run off your head that are amazing Spider-Man runs like that involve Peter Parker. For
even spectacular. runs from
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
spectacular, but whatever. But it's always been like Peter Parker story arcs. They're like amazing. Who's ever written them? Like Miles has been around now for 10 plus years. Was introduced in 2011, and I couldn't tell you like
Who's
more
his
than
villains?
one.
Yeah, like who are his villains? Who are his people that aren't Spider-Man villains, right? Like it's a copy and paste job. And you even I wasn't thinking about it because I don't read a lot of Miles. I read all the Ultimate Universe stuff, and I've dipped my toe into it. But when you just said it now, and you're talking about like story arcs for Miles Morales, I can't tell you any, and I would just tell you Spider-Verse, Venomverse, all these copy and paste like blah like storylines. Even the Carnage storyline, which I'm sure we might talk about a little bit in what we're currently reading. The Carnage storyline right now is great, but they always have to bring in Miles because Miles can't hold his own. He's just a supporting character in all these things. And I mean, God, dude, unless you're a massive Spider-Man fan, how many more Spider-Verses storylines can we really do, dude? It's getting obnoxious, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. We'll see. You know, I like what you said. I hire you, Justin, for this job. Peter Parker live action, Miles Morales crushing it in the animation. Why do you need to push it more? And I think it's risky too, because if you bring Miles to a live action and he shits the bed, dude, like if he doesn't do well, which Sony movies have not done well, you are going to hurt the property of the animation. That should be a concern to them, in my opinion.
Yeah. But you know what it is? It's all about just making money. Like if the money, if it's $200 million to make the movie and the movie makes $1 billion, of course they don't care whether it's good or bad, right? Because people went to see it. It's they'll keep doing it. It's the same thing. It's the same reason why they keep making Fast and the Furious movies. Like whether they're realistic, they're non-realistic. It is, you know, they make them for a specific amount of money, and they make way more than that to pay off everybody. So to make another one, and it just keeps going again and again. So Spider, they look at this now as like a Spider-Verse family movie.
Yeah.
If it's possible, it'll be done. You know, I think with DC, it's the same thing. Like you could do an entire Gotham series, right? Like obviously there's they've done all these TV series with the Gotham type of characters, and if they get enough viewers and it makes money, then perfect. If it doesn't, then it gets canceled. So
yeah, I just
Spider-Woman, get like I'm down for the Spider-Woman, whether it's just say Jessica Drew or it's a team of Spider chicks, girls, whatever. I'm cool with that too.
I just think too the copy and paste aspect of Spider-Man, it's you can't just keep doing it, man. Like, I mean, we're really not getting any new material, right? Like, and now we're doing so even this movie, Into the Spider-Verse, it's even a bit of a ripoff. Oh, sorry.
Cross.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Across the Spider-Verse. It's even a ripoff of kind of at this point of No Way Home, right? Like, because we've already did a multiverse. We already had multiple Spider-Man in a multiversal kind of situation. I don't know, dude. It's just, hey, check it out. We have Doc Ock, but it's a female Doc Ock. Hey, check it out. There's Lizard. Oh, yeah, that's, you know, a villain of this guy's, the original Spider-Man. It's like Prowler might be the only genuine, and because it's his uncle, like, you know, villain for him in a way. And I never thought they really did that very strongly, but I don't know, man. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. So again, for the live action Miles Morales will probably be at least 4 or 5 years. I feel like,
oh yeah,
you know, we got, and to be honest, you know, we're right around the corner from San Diego Comic-Con and D23 at some point. Like, will they probably would announce it at San Diego Comic-Con, like a live action, and it'd be still 3 years or 4 years down the line. Because look they announced Fantastic Four, they've talked about X-Men, nothing's moving. So
right.
We could probably not see Miles for another 4 or 5 years and go from there. So let's see what happens. But out of the Spider-Verse and into the Batcave, let's talk about some DC stuff. So first up, we've talked about this before. I cannot wait for over the summer. If you read Free Comic Book Day, the DC Night Terrors. So most recently, the Night Terrors First Blood #1 was supposed to have a 1 in 666 ratio variant. So retailers have to order 666 copies to get this very rare, very ugly cover of Night Terrors, which is like it was a black and white. Sorry, it just looks terrible in black and white. It was done by Howard Porter. It was going to be extremely
Signed
priced
also.
high, right?
Yeah.
There was no way that you'd get this under $1,000 because I'm sure it's like a $6 or $7 book. But
Right.
unfortunately, recently DC canceled this one. Now, someone like myself who likes buying variants, do I think that I like the idea? But like, here's the deal: why would you just do a black and white version of the main cover for your 666?
Right. At least color it in.
Well, no, I mean the colored version is the main cover. So all they're doing is they're just taking it and whitewashing it. It's just being like the pencils, basically. That's all it was. So
it looks like Wonder Woman's face looks like she smelled a fart or something, dude.
Oh, and Superman looks terrible too.
He looks gaunt. He looks like he's almost undead in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's a good idea. It's kind of a fun idea. I would never have like sought this book out, and I like the idea of it, but poor shops that have to order 666 of this copy,
But so now here's the thing is like, because obviously once this was announced, if you pre-ordered this, I forget how this works. Let's say you pre-ordered this on like eBay, knowing that it's a pre-order, and how long do you have until you can cancel it? Because like you'd have to hope that the seller cancels it for you, right? Because technically, I guess you have like 30 days for comics. We should probably look that up, but yeah,
I don't know.
Pretty interesting if you got screwed out of like buying, pre-ordering this, and you're like, oh, I got this for a deal. I got it for let's just say somebody sold it for what the ratio is, $666, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, I got a great deal on this, and then you're like out the money because now you can no longer call up eBay and cancel it. They're like, oh, you're out of the time frame, because that's happened before.
Oh yeah, yeah. eBay's not easy to work with when you're trying to get your money back. Can speak from experience there.
But I'm still excited for this series. I saw the concept arts in the free comic book day were amazing.
What are you let's talk about it real quick, because I actually got the DC, like, what do they call it? DC Connect from my shop this week, and it's got the list of all the books. Are you going to collect them all, or do you just think you'll read them all online, the majority of them? Or
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna get all the. Yeah, I definitely will get all the Gotham characters.
Okay.
Definitely the Batman, the Red Hood, the Catwoman. Like those are all really awesome, and probably the rest of them I'll just kind of read if I can, or maybe I'll end up just collecting them all and then trying to sell them all at the very end if I don't want to keep it. But
I was thinking about that too, but I don't know. There's so many. Let's go through them real quick. I'm going to read out the different titles. So it's each like 2 issues per character. So they're all titled Night Terrors and then the characters. So you got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Action Comics, Catwoman, Angel Breaker, Green Lantern, the Joker, Zatanna, Titans, First Blood, Knight's End, Robin, Ravager, Punchline, Poison Ivy, Nightwing, Harley Quinn, The Flash, Detective Comics, Shazam, and Black Adam. So it kind of spans the whole DC universe, which is cool. I mean, there's some really cool characters. I always like when you have like kind of, I don't want to call them random characters, but like Ravager, that's interesting to me, because like, ooh, okay, how's a character doesn't get a lot of screen time tied into this? You know what I mean? Like maybe they're doing something cool there. I'm surprised they don't have an actual, since he's supposed to be such a big character, Deadman doesn't get his own title.
Yeah, well, I think he's part of like the main series.
Run.
Like him and Zatanna are like big part of like the main story arc.
Yeah,
because they're right on the cover too, so that's why they don't get theirs, I guess.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I'm interested. I'm going to read all the titles, whether I collect them all or just like read them on. And so the main run is 4 issues, and then those other ones I just listed are 2 issues. So actually, here's a good little synopsis for those of you who may not know. So as Batman, Wesley Dodds, and Deadman attempt to protect the waking world from the unsettling horror of the sleepless nights, a new foe enters the fray, Damian Wayne. And much more is revealed about Insomnia, the villain at the center of the story, and why he's determined to engulf DC's heroes in their own dark and twisted nightmares. Plus, meet Dr. Hate. More on that in Night Terrors, Night's End. So across DC's publishing line, all the 20 Night Terror 2 issues miniseries conclude. It says conclude this month, which looks like it's in August, including Dick Grayson's run-in with murder and he's the murderer in Night Terror's Nightwing 2, Ivy being stuck in suburban hell in Night Terror's Poison Ivy 2, Man of Steel and Supergirl teaming up in Nightmare Realm and Night Terror's Superman 2, and Diana and the Justice League Dark facing their fears, and Night Terror's Wonder Woman 2. So I think it's going to be a good arc, man. I'm hoping for a good event from DC with this.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, 100%.
Yeah. It looks like Shazam's going to be focused on the Shazam title is going to be focused a lot on Mary Marvel as well. It might just be her, actually. I'm not sure though. That's cool. Speaking of Shazam, I finally watched it last night.
Oh, Shazam 2. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was good, man. I mean, it was good. It was,
Yeah, we didn't do it. Like, I don't
amazing.
think we did a review for that because you
Yeah.
hadn't seen it. I think I kind of just did a brief review, if anything.
It was good, dude. It was fun. Honestly, I think not to dive down a rabbit hole of Shazam, but I kind of felt like this at the end of the first one. I wish they wouldn't have given the powers to his whole family. I feel like that kind of decreased his storyline a little bit, you know, like
Mhm.
and I did think they juggled it well where, you know, they lost their powers throughout the show a little or throughout the movie a little bit here and there, but his arc was good. It was good, man. It wasn't great. It was enjoyable. The Wonder Woman stuff was stupid. That was like so pointless. And then,
Spoiler.
yeah. Well, if you haven't watched it now, I guess, right? It's out on HBO Max or just Max now. But and then like the Dr. Savannah, Mr. Mind thing, like obviously that's probably not going anywhere, right?
Yeah, again, like, thanks for wasting our time. Like, you showed that in
Right.
the first movie, and then like
Yeah, that was so like, oh, cool. Oh, remember this guy that we hinted at, and everyone's like, who's this damn caterpillar?
Mhm.
Mary Marvel, god damn,
So
right?
nasty with that.
Yeah. So, but it was fun, dude. It was a fun movie.
Awesome.
Anyway,
Cool. Well, that's Zach's quick review of Shazam 2. So
yeah,
we
check it
never
out
did
on
one.
Max.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's do another DC article. So
Yeah.
spinning out of, well, this is mainly for like Batman and Catwoman. So this actually just got announced last week. This is a press release over for at dccomics.com. An all-out war between the cat and the bat, or I should say the bat and the cat in Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War. So starting in late August, a battle is brewing in Gotham between the bat and the cat, but the crime is down in Gotham City. Could that be a bad thing? Spitting out of the nightmares that haunt Batman and night terrors, Batman Catwoman The Gotham War begins August 23rd. So this is going to be the first crossover event under the new dawn of DC. We have ourselves a coordinated effort in Gotham City has led to the reduction in violent crime. But what will it cost? Villains scatter as their lives begin to crumble under a new regime. And as Batman recovers from his epic battle through the multiverse in the horrors of night terrors, one name remains through his mind. One name at the heart of this new safer Gotham, and that is Catwoman. So I'm interested. There's a lot of variants. We'll talk about it. That it kicks off in the Batman, Catwoman, Gotham War battle lines, which again, that comes out August 29th. And then you have it going back and forth between starting in Batman number 137 and Catwoman 57. But what I'm really interested in, there's going to be 2 miniseries as well. There's going to be the Bat and Cat Gotham War Red Hood, and then Bat and the Cat Gotham War Scorched Earth. So I'm excited for the Red Hood one.
Yeah.
Because of course we all know the fractured part of that family with Red Hood. I'm guessing he'll be more, according to what we see on the cover. Check it out over at dccomics.com. He looks like he's more siding with Catwoman, which is going to be interesting. So what are your thoughts on this as a first event kind of out of the dawn of DC?
I'll read it for sure. You know, I guess I kind of have a bit of I don't want to say a bad taste in my mouth because it wasn't like horrible, but the whole wedding storyline that, you know, a couple of years ago that they did with Bat and Cat that was very strong, was not very strong. You know what I mean? And then I guess I also kind of have a little bad taste in my mouth with the Batman Catwoman 12 issue series that came out. But that was more because of like delays and production delays that kind of drug it out a little bit. So I don't know, man. It's kind of the Bat and the Cat. It's great, but the roller coaster of their relationship, sometimes it's like, will they, won't they, will they, won't they, will they, won't they? You know, it's like, okay, cool. So they were married or they were going to get married and now they're not. And now we're going to see them fighting each other. So I don't know, man, about in another 4 or 5 years, they're probably going to be maybe getting married again. You know, it's just kind of like this roller coaster. It's kind of the same shit over and over again, but we'll see, dude. I mean, I like both very strong characters, and obviously DC does Batman the best. So,
And it's actually it's still being written by Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, then, yeah, hell yeah. I mean,
So, and then the Catwoman side is Teenie Howard, and the Catwoman has actually been very solid
okay.
on this
Haven't been reading it.
rebirth, this rebirth run, or Dawn of DC, which is still continuing. Which is, and see, this still goes back to like, how does DC have certain characters that can run long term ongoings, and you
Right.
can't get Marvel characters like that? Like they,
Yeah, dude, Nightwing's at what, issue 131 or some shit here soon, or like close, not 131, probably like 110 or 101, something.
it's
in
close.
there.
Well, yeah, because it's close to like because it started just before Batman, or
Yeah.
just after Batman, I should say. And Batman kind of went bi-monthly. So
Catwoman's
I mean,
at 57, 58. Wow, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
so
So she's like running up. If I'm right, kind of based on context in the Batman run, she basically kind of like running like a neighborhood in Gotham, crime wise.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because obviously since Batman's been away with, I guess, the Night Terrors thing, she's kind of been dealing with Gotham, keeping the crime low. But again, this team up is perfect, right? Because, and they say in the article, and this is quoted from writer Teenie Howard, comics thrive on team ups, whether it's a team of creators or a heroic partnership. All of your favorite stories are about two strong personalities and the space between them. And that's so true, because without that, some storylines and some stories just don't work, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we've seen amazing story arcs from the Batman universe, time after time. They had the Batman with what was it, the Batman Deathstroke and Robin stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, now with this, because this is going to be the newest thing. Catwoman's always another. Catwoman's a character that's been there for such a long time in the history of Gotham, in the history of Batwoman.
Yeah.
It's perfect because, like you said earlier, that marriage was probably like the most hyped book of the time, with
Right,
all the different variants, and it was just like,
In the spinoffs and
ugh.
yeah. But it's cool. And like I'm the article I'm looking at here too says, where did I see it? And this is something I'm sure you're super excited about. The Gotham War fractured the Bat family none more intensely than with Jason Todd. Stunning event will forever alter the destiny of the man who wears the red hood. So, Jason's such a great character, but it does feel like he goes through waves of where they just don't do anything with him, right? He's just this, and then he comes back and he's always the same Jason. Like whatever maybe happened before, he comes back and he's just, I'm sullen Jason, and Batman was mean to me. You know what I mean? It always kind of goes back, and it's like, we lost the great story that was just done, and we never moved forward with Red Hood. I think this is totally another tangent, man, but I kind of think you'll agree with me, because I think we've talked about this, but the Red Hood and the Outlaws storylines and like during New 52 and stuff were so great because it was Red Hood without Batman. He was, he had his own team, he was doing his own thing and like progressing, and you didn't have this whole, every storyline with Red Hood is either Joker or Batman. That's it. That's what it feels like you only ever get with Red Hood. And that's why I love the Outlaws and the Red Hood runs so much, because he broke out on his own and you kind of saw a different side of him. So,
yeah, I feel like that's probably the reason why Nightwing is so successful, because of the fact that he's not in Gotham, and I mean, he hasn't been in Gotham in years, but he's, Bloodhaven and Gotham are so close.
Right. He does his own thing. He's on his own. He comes back when he needs to. He very much has his own like autonomy. And I don't feel like, and bro, it's crazy too, because even in a way, Tim Drake has that, where he does his own thing. It only seems like Jason Todd is kind of, and even Damian Wayne kind of goes on his own. Jason Todd seems to be the only character consistently of all the Robins that they always tie and never really allowed to like grow on his own. So,
yeah, I think you just need a writer to step up and say, listen, I want to do a great Jason Todd storyline.
Yeah. You need like a Donny Cates to come in and like, change it. Change the
someone that can definitely, show you who Jason Todd is. I mean, we've seen that, like, obviously the Matt Rosenberg Punisher, right? Just have him come over. He's basically the same thing, right?
The current Punisher run, or the old one?
Rosenberg one.
Yeah, that was a great one too.
Yeah. So like, just bring him over and have him write some awesome Red Hood storyline that doesn't involve Batman or doesn't involve the Joker somehow.
Yeah, dude, take him. You know what would be cool? Take Red Hood to like Metropolis or something like that, like a city of hope. And you bring a character like Red Hood to there. And then he's got to dodge Superman as well, who's like, hey, man, quit killing people and jacking
Yeah.
dudes up or whatever. Like, or take him to Coast City, take him to Central City, take him out of Gotham. Do like a Nightwing thing, like you said, like Bloodhaven. Like, bring him somewhere else and let him operate. I don't know.
So yeah, that's
I hope DC's listening to us.
Yeah,
Listening to the
hopefully.
Comic-Con podcast. Take
Just,
their advice.
well, that's what it is. Just get a writer out there that, like, you just got to put these little ideas in writers' heads. So if you go to a convention, right, and you like, there's the writer that you like, and they're signing up at Artist Alley, they're sitting there, be like, you know what? I think you'd be great on a Red Hood title.
Yep. Pitch
Just
them and
maybe
let
it
'em-
sparks something in their
Right.
head, like
You'll give it some thought. Yeah.
you never know. So anyway, so the Batman Catwoman Gotham War starts in the end of August with the one shot, and then you have the concurring titles with Batman. There's 2 issues of Batman, 2 issues of Catwoman. You get the 2 mini series for the Gotham War Red Hood, and then also Scorched Earth #1. So, be on the lookout. It looks like it starts, like I said, the end of August, and will go through September and October. So I'm excited for that one. There's definitely some ratio variants on there as well. Some good artists. So
Nice.
that's it, I think, on articles, my man. I think we have some
I kind
talk.
of got an article that will tie into what we're currently reading. So
Rock and roll then.
Wait, what did you say? We had some movie talk? Is that what you said?
Oh, no.
Oh.
It's all you.
Oh, okay. So, and you said you hadn't really read much this week, right?
No, I've only really gotten to about 2 titles this week because I'm just so busy with opening the pool that when I opened it, it was green and I broke in pieces. So I literally thought if I jumped into my pool that I would probably jump out and look like the Joker. Like, I feel like my skin would just turn white. That's
Or
how
a
bad
Ninja
my pool
Turtle.
looked. Or a Ninja Turtle, or I'd have like 4 arms. You never know, like some type of mutant.
Hey, before we go to what we're currently reading, it's just segue Turtles. We want to talk real quick, the Turtle trailer, the newest.
Yes,
Thoughts
that's
on it?
right. The latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer is dropped, and I'm glad you said that because that actually will fall into what I'm currently reading. So, we talked about it a few months ago with the announcement of Mutant Mayhem, and this is our first time that we actually get to see a little bit more in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles other than just the Turtles, right? So, why don't you start us off on that Mutant Mayhem Seth Rogen movie?
Yeah. I'm a big Turtles fan. I read the ongoing. I love Turtles. I love the Nickelodeon animated, like the 6 seasons. Slowly watching them as they redo them on, or release them, rewatching it as they release them on Netflix. I love Turtles, so I'm down for a new iteration. I'm on the fence. Well, maybe on the fence isn't right. I'm gonna watch it no matter what, and I don't necessarily have bad thoughts of it, but I'm not completely sold. I get it that it's kind of strange you don't have Shredder, but I also understand, and of course you'll probably get a post-credit scene with Shredder, right? Like, it's all going to lead up to Shredder. It looks like, Baxter Stockman's the main villain, and it's kind of mutants against mutants. So Stockman's kind of, distilled from the X-Men, created his own brotherhood of mutants in a way, and you see a lot of cool characters there, which is fun for old school fans of the Turtles. I'm not crazy about some of the animation and the looks of the characters. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy over the April character, which whatever. But the one I was surprised about that I didn't really like is I don't like the look of Splinter. He looks just like this old crotchety uncle. Like, I'm like, in no way. And that's what's so crazy about the Nickelodeon series. Like, anytime Splinter showed up on the scene, like, yo, watch out, because Splinter wrecks dudes. And this character, I don't know, man. I wasn't really feeling the look there. But I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think because here it is too. This is like an earlier Turtles, right? This is not the teenage. I mean, they're teenagers, but I feel like this is maybe when they're like 12, 13, not like maybe 17. So they're not mature enough. Like, they're really just going out for the first time, like trying to figure out what they're doing. Like, we know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from like Saturday morning cartoons or, the movies. They've already established they're already established as turtles, as ninjas. This is still like a primary thing. So I get, and I'm glad that they didn't go Shredder route. Like, I do like how they brought in mutants. So like, I mean, Bebop and Rocksteady are already there.
think you saw
Is this
Wingnut,
Baxter
Mondo.
Stockman? Because he's like called Superfly. Like,
Yeah, it's Stockman though. It's got to be Stockman.
yeah.
And then you got Wingnut,
Wingnut, you
Mondo
got Mondo
Gecko.
Gecko, yeah. So it's cool. Like I'm glad that they went that route because especially if you've been reading, and I know you're very up to date on the Ninja Turtle stuff, is that's something that they've created over the past couple of years, like the whole mutant town, and
Right.
that's more like what's the word? Like it's more accessible than like before. Like you would have like these, characters would just come in and then they would leave and then they just go back to the Ninja Turtles fighting Shredder or the Foot.
Yeah.
So the fact that like
Bigger
they're trying to
universe, I
create
think
this
is what
whole
you're
little area of
yeah.
mutants, it's completely different. And I'm glad that some of these characters are getting their due, like in the open on the first movie. So yeah, don't need Shredder. Give me more mutants because that's who they really should be fighting.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I'll watch it, dude. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I was about ready to say,
I
like,
agree with you on this. I agree with you on the Splinter thing. I think it looks corny, right? My biggest thing and still take away, and I know I said this to you prior to the, because you sent me the thing saying, oh, the
Mhm.
trailer's dropping tomorrow or whatever. I'm still waiting to see Casey Jones.
Yeah, dude. It's oh god,
Like
he's my
I'm
favorite character.
wondering.
Yeah. No, I think they're gonna hold him off.
Mhm.
I think so too. I
All
think they're
right.
gonna hold him off till like the next one or something like that. But and I'm worried about it. I'm worried about like don't change Casey Jones. If you change Casey Jones, I'll straight up I'll be done with it. I won't watch it.
Hmm.
I mean, and even kind of the live action recent ones, man. Stephen Amell as Casey Jones. I was super hyped about that casting. Like, obviously, those movies didn't do great. Out of the Shadows, but
Yep.
I really loved that casting, and I was kind of hoping it would keep going because I wanted to see more Casey Jones. So
Yeah, I haven't watched that second movie in so long. I
I
feel like
know I haven't either.
I think it's on Prime or Hulu. I think I should probably pop it in because
Yeah, might
now
have
it's
to do
time
that
to
too.
rewatch some old school Ninja Turtles. So.
Mhm.
But so yeah, let's get right into what are we currently reading. So of course, like I said, the what are we currently reading is perfect because this week they just dropped the newest Saturday Morning Adventures TMNT from IDW #1, and it brought me back to like I said, Saturday morning cartoons. It's literally got it's got that style of straight out of the cartoons. First issue revolves around Rat King
Mm.
and Shredder and TCRI. So if like the old
That's like all of them, man. That right there, you just hit like all the strings right there with that.
yeah,
So.
yeah, it's so perfect. So it's corny. It's not as adult as the current TMNT that's with IDW, but it reminded me of like just watching the Ninja Turtles like growing up in the the late 80s, early 90s. And characters are straight out of their costumes. April's in there, and you get this whole kind of storyline with Rat King, which is really awesome. So if you hadn't had a chance or didn't, because sometimes I feel like this type of book may not be in the normal section for
Yeah,
comics.
I don't really read the adventure stuff, but
So yeah, you may have to actually, hit up the kids section for at your local comic shop, depending on, how your shop is set up. I know this would probably be more in a child section, but give it a read if you're a Turtles fan. If you didn't know that it came out and you want to read some Saturday morning cartoons. So one of the titles I got to read this week, again, the Saturday Morning Adventures ongoing series. And then on the flip side, which is definitely the flip side, the latest issue of Carnage. And I know you kind of teased this before with the Miles thing.
yeah.
Carnage 13 has brought in a new artist, which is awesome. Fran Gallen, completely changed style, really different. If you have been reading it, I've been talking about it probably like every other month. So Cletus Cassidy, there's the Cletus Cassidy, then there's the Carnage symbiote. Both of them crazy sadistic, crazy wild. The storyline has just been progressively getting better and better. And in this issue, we have some team that goes up against, which is like a very odd team to go against Carnage. You have Miles, you have the Electrode's like daughter, right? Is that who it is?
So I haven't read this one because I'm finishing the Miles Morales tie-in for
Okay.
the what is it? Carnage Reigns is
Carnage
the
and Rain,
arc,
yes.
right? Yeah. So I'm
Yes.
reading that. That's the last book I got to read is the Carnage one this week.
Okay. So yeah, so you have those two characters. You have Scorpion,
Yeah.
Taskmaster shows up, and there's some other girl who I don't even know her name, but she's some weird character. But yeah, so you get a different team, and you're just like, where do these characters come from? But of course, they're fighting off Carnage, and then You have the Cletus Cassidy, who's just trying to engulf himself into Tony Stark's mainframe so he could be kind of like all over the place. But at the end, there is a tease, and I'm excited for this, for Flash Thompson, and I'm hoping he comes back.
Cool.
But again, like you said, the Carnage Reign is going in currently in 3 different titles. It's also in the upcoming Red Goblin number 5. Again, Carnage 14, and then Miles Morales issue number 6 or number 7, I think it is.
6 was the past one.
Okay, yeah. So since 7, so it's continuing, and I guess this is going to go straight into our Summer of Symbiotes. So
sweet.
What about you, man? What did you get a chance to read with Baby on board?
There were some good books this week. First, I want to give a shout out, like an honorable mention. I've talked about this title before, and I'm really enjoying it. And it kind of, I can't remember if it was last week we talked about the Donny Cates stuff, but it's the storyline Vanish. So, or the book Vanish. Really loving that story. I like the way it's going. Obviously, it's written by Cates and Stegman, but surprised, this issue, pencils and interior art is done by our boy Ken Marion. So really enjoyed it. Loved seeing his name on the front of the book. You know, I was like, I even told my wife, I was like, oh, that's my friend. Check this out. You know? But I really like Vanish. I think it's awesome. I like the ideas and the story they got going there. So if you're not reading that, check it out. Vanish from Image Comics. And then kind of had 2 picks of the week. So the first one was, and this obviously wasn't this week, I think it came out last week, but I got it with my DCBS order this week, is the Supermassive 2023 book. So we talked about the massive verse, the Radiance, Radiant Black, Radiant Pink, Radiant Red, Rogue Sun, Inferno Girl Red as well. All those titles kind of in the same universe. And they've been doing for 2 years now, like a book, a one-shot called Supermassive, where it's kind of like a crossover. And sorry, Dead Lucky as well. So this one was a crossover, and you had Rogue Sun, you had the 2 Radiant Black characters, and you had Dead Lucky as well. So really cool. And it wasn't like some of those crossovers where like they don't talk about what's happening in the individual books. It very much was set right after the events. So I don't want to spoil anything, but there's events that happen in Rogue Sun that are now showing up in Supermassive. And then we did kind of talk about the vote on who's voting or who's going to be the Radiant Black moving forward. Yep. That's kind of talked about in this book as well. You see the where we left off on Dead Lucky, I think issue 6, the character of BB shows up. And then you also get a little Inferno Girl Red shout out, which if you didn't read the 3 Inferno Girl Reds, I suggest you guys do that. I really, really enjoyed those. But to tag it all together, bro, it was a search. The storyline was kind of the search for the Holy Grail. So then there's some kind of Holy Grail King Arthur like themes as well with this and the characters. And it was really a lot of fun. And God, I kind of want to ruin this. I'm going to spoil this. There's a cameo at the end. Now, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if this is going to branch off into a whole different thing, but on the final panel, you get a cameo or an appearance. It's an appearance, straight up appearance, because he talks of Medieval Spawn shows up. So Medieval Spawn interacts with one of the characters. So now what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a crossover with the Spawn universe? We all know Image tried to do a whole shared universe at one point in time, right? And even going back, there is some mention of Malcolm Dragon, son of Savage Dragon, in the Massive Verse as well. So are we in a shared universe now with Image? Kind of interesting stuff there. It was pretty cool. So if you're a Spawn fan, you might get a kick out of that. And so that was really cool. And then my other pick of the week was Punisher number 12. And this is kind of talking about this article that I found as well. Now, I've been talking a lot about the Punisher run this past. It was his 12th issue done by Jason Aaron. There's a lot of things to unpack about the Punisher. Obviously, we're coming out of the era, what Justin talked about earlier about the Rosenberg. And then there was obviously the drama with the Punisher symbol and real life situations and how we kind of got rid of that. We got the samurai stuff. And then this Jason Aaron run where the Punisher is working for the Hand. Basically, he's like the head assassin of the Hand. It all kind of comes to a climax here. Man, I don't want to spoil it because it's so good. This Jason Aaron run, I have been surprised by it. I didn't think Jason Aaron had it in him because he's such a kind of a light, I don't want to say lighthearted, but not a dark. He doesn't typically write dark characters, right? And like the Punisher is a dark character, and there's a lot of trauma and a lot of like heart in it. And he wraps this up really nice. He rounds it out. There's a good little epilogue writing from him at the end where he kind of explains his thoughts of the Punisher. What he's and I like how he doesn't take a stand. You can probably assume what he thinks, but he says, look, I don't agree with everything done with the Punisher. I don't agree with the people who, and he doesn't say specifically, but aspects of people who take on the Punisher. But he talks about the trauma of the Punisher. And honestly, man, if you even remotely like the Punisher, you should be reading this storyline. It's so good. But the article I'm reading from CBR is Marvel confirms the Punisher is no more. So the end of the book leaves the Punisher in a weird place. There's kind of a new mystery involved, possibly with the Punisher, which I don't want to spoil for anyone, but I don't know. I don't know if Frank Castle is even the Punisher anymore moving forward from here. So check it out. Awesome run, Jason Aaron, the Punisher. Definitely my pick of the week for sure.
Nice. And actually, just real quick, because I know you brought up Ken, I actually just got in the mail today.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a chance to read it. The Death Shroud 2 just came in.
Oh man. Okay, yeah.
So I just got my copy in today, so I'll be cracking that open over the weekend and giving it a read from Chad and Ken. So looking forward to that. Awesome. So of course, that's it for this week's episode. We appreciate all the listeners, new and old. You can find us on all those major podcast platforms. You know where it is. Please share it out. I appreciate all the new people that have been coming on and following us. Hit me up, especially at the 3 Men Comic Swap. Talked about that last week, and we'll be doing I will be doing a Spider-Verse review. So if you're listening to this and you possibly want to join me, you saw the movie, feel free to hit me up if I haven't already recorded one. So then the next 3 weeks, man, is nothing but movies. I feel like I got Spider-Verse, I got Transformers, and then The Flash. So it's such a good June is like wild. This is the first time that I'm like super excited to go to the movies like every week.
I will be purchasing. Actually, I'll make the purchase once we get off here. I will be seeing The Flash opening day, so we already got a babysitter lined up, bringing in one of the grandmas, and we'll be doing that. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
So,
good.
Yep.
All right, that's it, everybody. For the new man with the new baby. Thanks for being able. Hopefully, again, we can continue to do this on a weekly basis based on schedules. So,
no problem there.
Yes. So that's it, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or weekend that you're listening to this. Peace out.
Later.